The National Association of Realtors predicts some 5 million existing homes will be sold by the end of this year. That's down more than 1 million from last year. But despite an overall dip, there is a growing trend in the housing market: friends teaming up to buy a home together.
I wasn't really too crazy about the idea of renting. I wanted to make an investment.
Like many single 20-somethings, Allison Dwyer dreamed she would one day find a place she could call her own. And last year, her dream became a reality when her best friend Lauren approached her with an idea.
I wanted to purchase a place with my friend, just to sort of help financially.
The two have shared everything from toys to clothes to secrets over the years, so sharing finances seemed like a no-brainer.
It was appealing to both be able to share a mortgage and not have a financial burden so much, as well as share bills and all of the things that come with owning a property.
I was excited, yet a little nervous. It's a huge purchase, so there was definitely some hesitation. I did have some concerns from family. You never mix money with friendships. But I think the fact that we are so close and that we've been friends for so long really put my mind at ease about purchasing a place together.
Allison and Lauren were both on the same page in terms of price range and location, and even talked about the what-ifs before beginning their search.
We discussed sort of the repercussions of if one of us is ready to make another move, how we would react to that. So we definitely talked about it first.
After a few months and dozens of open houses, the pair purchased a condo together in New Jersey.
I came by myself to look at this place with our realtor, and immediately it jumped out at me. I knew that it was the place for us.
Probably like in any business relationship or personal relationship, the key is communicating and understanding each other's, what they expect. So far, it's been great.
Joining us now is Today real estate contributor Barbara Corcoran. Barbara, good morning. Good to have you on.
Good morning.
I think one of them hit the nail on the head for me, which is mixing money and friendships. So we're going to talk about that in a second. But on the upside, housing market being what it is, it's a buyer's market. You put two incomes together like that, and you're in the driver's seat, right?
Yeah, it's a perfect time for a situation like this because there are so many houses out there that can be gotten at bargain prices. For every 6 houses we had a year ago, there are now 10. So you can put in a low bid and actually have your bid entertained.
Also, not only do you get more house here, but obviously you share expenses. But let's talk about the cons, friendships and money. There's a lot of things that can go wrong in a relationship like this, right?
The number one like that certainly does often go wrong is the friendship ends over finances, over something that they thought they agreed on that they didn't put in writing and that they should have had a solid agreement on. So things can go wrong if you go into it in a very loose kind of a way.
One of you has a life change, your credit is tied together, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Let's talk about some of the advice you suggest, and I think this makes perfect sense. Get an attorney from the get-go, right?
It sounds so serious, like why should we get an attorney? We're good friends, we know each other, etc. But an attorney has seen these situations. There's a lot of a lot of money at risk is what I meant to say, and you have to put everything in writing, and no one's better equipped to do that than an attorney.
It's like a prenup, except probably more important, because in a marriage there's some legal rights concerning the disposition of a property, correct?
Well, when married people buy a property, there are both state and federal laws intact that protect the ownership. What happens here there are no protections whatsoever, so you must create your own. You not only need to understand what kind of ownership you're getting into, exactly technically and legally what are your rights within it, but you also have to have agreements of what happens if you want to sell the home. If the partnership breaks up, who gets the house?
This would be called a cohabitation agreement?
Cohabitation agreement. It sounds so silly, but it even addresses things like who's going to do the repairs, when the mortgage is going to be paid, who's going to get the tax deductions, all of these things, and how the house affects the individual's personal credit. So these are very important things, because if the relationship ends, and not always for a bad reason, but simply someone gets married, you move to a different area.
Somebody dies.
Absolutely.
What happens then? The life insurance?
If someone dies, you can get life term insurance on each other. And then what happens is the minute there's an unforeseen death, the entire mortgage gets paid off.
In terms of applying for a mortgage with a friend, how does that work? You simply go to the bank and say, we're doing this together, but we're not married.
You don't get a discount, but you don't get charged anymore. But you use both assets and liabilities, so you could take someone's credit problems on as well through the house, but you apply together for the same kind of mortgage.
I also have here, when I ask you about something else, we're seeing foreclosures on the rise in this country, and I'm hearing something called short sales. What exactly is that?
A short sale is simply a homeowner whose mortgage is more or larger than what the house is actually worth. So the homeowner goes to the bank and negotiates with the bank to be able to sell their house at a discount price below the mortgage amount. Why this is a new phenomenon, why it's so good for buyers, is you can often get a discount on a house between 20 and 25% if you go after a short sale. The only cautionary note that a lot of people don't know about is you have to get the bank's okay, or you can't get clear title to the house. And you're always buying those houses as is, meaning what you see is what you get. So if you really haven't had a good look at that house, you have no recourse and no means of suing.
Short sales. Interesting stuff. Barbara Corcoran, thanks so much for coming on.
My pleasure.